Brandcast. Today we're diving deep
Oh, awesome.
into the world of branding with designing brand identity as our guide.
Sounds interesting.
It really is, and we're going to unpack how brands work,
Okay.
what they are, their components, and how those unforgettable brands get created.
Yeah.
You know, this book really emphasizes that in today's crowded market, a brand is much more than just a logo or a catchy tagline.
It really is about crafting a feeling.
Yeah.
The author, Marty Neumeier, defines a brand as a person's gut feeling about a product, service, or company.
That definition is so spot on.
Yeah.
Think about Apple. People don't just buy their products.
Right.
They buy into a feeling of innovation and creativity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that emotional connection is what drives loyalty. People stick with brands they trust, brands that make them feel something.
Yeah.
That's powerful in a world overflowing with choices.
Okay, so we've got standing out, connecting, building relationships. But this book also digs into why companies would want to revamp their brand.
Yeah, okay.
It's not always about a total overhaul.
Right. Sometimes it's about addressing trademark issues,
Okay.
overcoming negative associations, or even adapting after a company merger.
Makes sense.
Imagine a company with a brand that feels outdated.
Oh,
A refresh can bring them back into the spotlight.
so when it's time for a brand makeover,
Yeah?
the book lays out a 5-phase process.
All right.
Research, strategy, design development, application design, and launch and governance.
Okay.
Sounds like a roadmap for success.
It is, and it's not just theory.
Okay.
This is the process used by the big players. It starts with deep research to understand the market,
Yeah.
then moves to crafting a strategy,
Okay.
followed by designing the brand elements, bringing it all to life, making sure it's managed effectively.
Out of these phases, I'm particularly interested in this big idea concept.
Oh, yeah.
The book really hammers home how crucial it is. It's presented as the guiding principle, the essence of the brand.
Yeah.
But what does a big idea actually look like?
Think of it as the driving force behind everything a brand does.
Okay.
Take Apple's Think Different. It challenged conventions and positioned them as innovators.
Right.
Or Target's Expect More, Pay Less,
Okay.
capturing their value proposition of offering style at affordable prices.
Makes sense.
Then there's Harley-Davidson's Rider Passion,
Okay.
tapping into the emotional connection their customers have with their motorcycles.
Those are amazing examples.
Yeah.
It's clear how each big idea acts as a North Star for the brand.
Right.
But once you have that guiding principle, how do you actually structure the brand itself?
That's where brand architecture comes in.
Okay.
There are different ways to organize your brand depending on your goals and the nature of your business.
Right.
The book highlights 3 main types: monolithic,
Okay.
endorsed, and pluralistic.
Okay, let's break those down.
Right.
What makes them distinct?
A monolithic brand architecture is like Google.
Okay.
The parent brand is dominant across all its products and services.
Yeah.
Think Google Search, Google Maps, Google Drive.
Yeah.
It's all under the Google umbrella.
So it's like one big unified family.
Yep.
What about the endorsed architecture?
With endorsed architecture,
Right.
sub-brands are linked to the parent brand, but have their own identities.
Okay.
Think Apple and its iPod,
Uh-huh.
clearly an Apple product.
Yeah.
But the iPod had its own unique branding and feel.
A connection,
Yeah,
but with a degree of independence.
right,
That makes sense.
right.
Finally, we have the pluralistic architecture.
This one's interesting.
Okay.
The parent company might be invisible to the consumer.
Oh.
They focus on a portfolio of individual brands,
Gross.
each with its own distinct identity.
Okay.
Kraft is a good example.
Okay.
They own brands like Oreo, Philadelphia cream cheese, and Tang. You don't necessarily think Kraft when you see those products.
So we've covered the what of a brand and how it's structured. Yep. But the book also delves into brand identity ideals, which seem to be the heart of building a strong and memorable brand.
Right.
What are these ideals and how do they translate into a successful brand?
The book dives into 7 key ideals,
Right.
meaning authenticity, differentiation,
Yeah.
durability, coherence, flexibility, and commitment.
Okay.
These ideals are the foundation of a brand's personality and impact.
Right.
Let's take Nike as an example.
Okay.
Their brand embodies the meaning of victory and athletic achievement. They're undeniably authentic to their core values.
Yeah.
And they differentiate themselves through constant innovation and inspiring stories.
Right.
The brand has proven itself durable, standing the test of time.
Yeah.
They're coherent in their messaging and visual identity,
Right.
which is a huge part of their success as a global powerhouse.
It's amazing how those ideals weave together to create such an impactful brand.
It really is.
But what about the visual side of things?
Oh, yeah.
Because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right?
Absolutely. The book really drives home the importance of visual elements in branding.
Okay.
Brand marks, word marks, and even color choices play a crucial role in recognition.
Right.
It's all about that sequence of cognition, how visuals trigger perceptions and associations in our minds instantly.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Think about the Nike swoosh.
Right.
Instantly. You think athleticism and achievement. Or the Apple logo.
Yep.
With its simple Apple silhouette.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes about their minimalist design and user-friendly approach.
Stefan.
Even something as simple as the color red on a Coca-Cola can trigger feelings of happiness and refreshment.
It's fascinating how these visual cues tap into our emotions, creating those instant associations.
Yeah.
Branding isn't just logic.
Right.
It's about speaking to our feelings. And that brings us to something critical in today's world.
Okay.
Branding in a globalized landscape.
Yeah.
In a world that's so interconnected, it's more important than ever for brands to be mindful of cultural differences.
Yeah.
What resonates in one culture might fall flat or even cause offense in another.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
You can't just assume a brand will translate smoothly across different cultures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The book highlights how crucial it is to consider the cultural implications of colors, symbols, and even language choices.
Yeah.
It's about being sensitive and doing your research to avoid potential missteps.
So we're seeing that branding is a much more nuanced process than it might seem. It's not just about slapping a logo on something.
It really is about understanding your audience deeply,
Yeah.
crafting a message that resonates with them,
Right.
and delivering it in a way that connects both visually and emotionally.
Right.
It takes strategic thinking and careful execution.
This book also touches on the rising importance of sustainability in branding.
It does.
It's not just a trend anymore. It feels like it's becoming a core part of a brand's identity.
It absolutely is. Consumers are more conscious than ever about the impact of their choices.
Right.
And they're seeking out brands that align with their values.
Yeah.
Companies are recognizing this shift, and they're integrating sustainability into their brand promise.
Right.
They're highlighting things like ethical sourcing,
Okay.
reducing their environmental impact,
Yeah.
and supporting fair labor practices.
It's like the triple bottom line is in play now.
It is.
People, planet, profit,
Yeah.
brands are realizing that doing good can also be good for business.
Speaking of changing landscapes,
Yeah.
the book dives into how social media has revolutionized the way brands communicate.
It really has.
It's given consumers a voice and a platform like never before.
It feels like the power dynamic has shifted.
It has.
Brands can't just broadcast their message.
Right.
They need to engage in conversations and build genuine relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about control anymore, it's about collaboration.
Okay.
The book talks about how successful companies are using social media to connect with their customers on a more personal level.
Right.
They're building communities around their brand and turning satisfied customers into passionate advocates.
Social media has become such a vital tool
Yes.
for building brand loyalty and managing your reputation.
Right.
You need to be responsive, authentic, and engaging.
Yeah.
It makes me think about all the different ways customers interact with a brand. The book calls these touch points
Okay.
and emphasizes the importance of the overall brand experience.
It's not just about the website or a slick ad campaign anymore. Touch points include everything from the packaging your product comes in
Okay.
to how a customer is treated by your customer service team.
Yeah.
Even the physical environment of your store, if you have one, contributes to the brand experience.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing and optimizing every single interaction a customer has with your brand.
So the key takeaway is that you need to create a consistent and positive experience across all those touch points.
Absolutely. Consistency builds trust and loyalty.
Right.
It's about thinking holistically and making sure every interaction reinforces your brand message and values.
Yeah.
You want your customers to have a cohesive and positive experience, no matter how they're engaging with your brand.
You know, reading this book has been a real eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the depth and complexity of branding in a whole new light.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
There's so much more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah.
One thing that really stood out to me was the book's emphasis on the internal design team.
Okay.
It's not just about bringing in an outside agency to craft your brand.
So you're saying that the internal team plays a crucial role.
Yes. The book stresses the importance of involving your internal team throughout the entire branding process.
Okay.
They have a depth of knowledge about the company's culture, values, and target audience that an outside agency can't replicate.
Right.
They're also the ones who will be living and breathing the brand day in and day out.
It's about creating a sense of ownership and shared responsibility for the brand's success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be on board and invested.
The book suggests that companies with strong internal design teams tend to be more successful in building and maintaining their brand identity over the long term.
Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like you need internal champions for the brand to really make it resonate and stick.
Empowering your internal team to be brand ambassadors and guardians is key to creating a brand that is authentic and truly reflects the company's values.
This deep dive has been incredible.
Yeah, it has.
It feels like we've peeled back the layers of the branding onion and explored the strategic and creative thinking behind it all.
I agree. It's been a fascinating journey unpacking these concepts and seeing how they play out in the real world.
It's amazing to think about how all these elements work together to shape our perceptions and even influence our choices as consumers. It's like branding is this invisible force that's constantly at work in our lives.
You're right. And what's so powerful is that when it's done well, branding can create a truly lasting impact.
Right.
It builds trust, fosters loyalty, and can even inspire movements.
But in today's world, where information spreads so quickly and consumers are so savvy, can brands really control their narrative?
That's a great question.
Or has that power shifted to the consumer?
That's the question every brand is grappling with.
It is.
It's this push and pull between the brand's message and the consumer's voice.
Right.
I think it's less about control and more about adaptation.
Okay.
Brands still have a crucial role in shaping the conversation.
Right.
But it requires a different approach.
Yeah.
It's about being transparent, engaging authentically, and building genuine relationships with your audience.
So it's about collaboration and co-creation.
It is.
Listening to what your audience is saying and being willing to adjust your message based on that feedback.
Exactly. Responsiveness, agility, and a willingness to evolve with the changing needs and expectations of your audience are crucial in today's landscape.
Yeah, this deep dive has given me so much to think about.
You too.
It's fascinating to see how much strategy, creativity, and psychology go into crafting a successful brand.
It really is.
The thing that stands out to me is how branding goes beyond logic and taps into our emotion.
It does.
We make decisions based on how brands make us feel.
It's true. Think about the brands you're loyal to.
Yeah.
Chances are there's an emotional connection there, a feeling of trust or shared values.
Right.
And that's the power of branding when it's done right.
Yeah.
It creates a connection that goes beyond the transaction.
This has been such an insightful exploration of branding. We've covered so much ground.
We have.
From defining a brand and its purpose to understanding how brands are structured, the elements that make them strong, and the forces that are shaping the future of branding.
It's been a great discussion.
It has.
We've seen how brands are built, how they communicate, and ultimately how they connect with us on a deeper level.
The key takeaway for me is that branding is an ongoing process.
Yes.
It's not a one and done deal.
It's not.
It requires constant attention, refinement, and adaptation to stay relevant and impactful.
Right.
Brands need to be willing to evolve along with their audiences and the ever-changing world around them.
Well said. It's a dynamic and exciting field.
It is.
And there's always more to learn. It really is. And it's a constantly evolving thing.
Yeah, it really is.
We think about like how quickly things change online these days.
Oh, absolutely.
And, just like with marketing trends and everything, branding has to keep up.
It does. And I think what you were saying about the internal team really resonated with me.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where the authenticity comes from.
It is. It's like you have to believe in what you're selling, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you have a team that's passionate about the brand, it's going to show.
It will, and it will come through in everything you do.
From your marketing materials to your customer service.
Absolutely, to how you interact with each other even.
It's like that whole, walk the walk, talk the talk kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
This has been so insightful.
It has been.
I feel like I have a much deeper understanding of branding now.
I agree.
Like going back to that Marty Neumeier quote, a person's gut feeling about a product, service, or company.
Yeah.
It's not just about the logo. It's about the whole experience.
It really is about the feeling that you evoke.
Exactly. And that's what makes a brand truly memorable.
And successful, right?
Yeah. And I think that's what we all strive for as brand builders.
I think so too. It's about creating something that connects with people on a deeper level, something that resonates and stays with them.
That's a great point to end on.
Thanks for joining in at the Brandcast.
Do not forget to follow for more upcoming content.